Welcome back to part 2 of our Ladakh trip. Right now, we are descending down from Kardung La Pass. We spent almost 15 minutes at the top, and within that short time itself, we started feeling some breathing issues because of the high altitude. So without waiting much, we immediately started coming down. As we descended, everything slowly came back to normal. The climate felt much better, and the oxygen level was also getting back to normal. Right now, we are taking a small break here. This place is actually known as one of the starting points of the Shyok River. The snow from these mountains melts and flows down through this valley, and that is how the river begins its journey. They have also placed a small banner and a photo point here for travelers. You can see some road work happening here as well. Since small landslides happen quite often in this region, the road crews keep clearing the roads very quickly. From here, we are now heading towards Nubra Valley. The views throughout this route are absolutely beautiful. The roads are very clean, but at the same time, both sides of the road are quite dangerous. When we look at it, it may feel easy to ride, but the roadsides are made of loose soil. If the bike goes onto those edges, there is a high chance of skidding. So maintaining proper speed is very important here. Most local vehicles move really fast on these roads, so we have to stay extra careful while riding. Even if we can handle off-road sections well, roads like this demand much more attention. Because the road width is quite narrow and vehicles pass at high speed, giving side to other vehicles also needs to be done very carefully. You can see a van passing us right now, and as you can notice, vehicles here move at really high speed. The mountain ranges in this region are extremely fragile. At any moment, rocks can break loose and fall, which is why landslides are very common on these roads. Because of that, even when we overtake, we need to stay calm, wait for the right moment, and overtake very carefully. Both sides of the road are filled with loose sand, so if the bike moves onto the edge, there is a chance of losing control. That is why safety is the most important thing while riding through roads like this. And now, what you are seeing in front of us is the beautiful Nubra Valley. This entire valley stretches along the banks of the Shyok River, creating one of the most beautiful landscapes in Ladakh. Right here on the side of this valley is the famous monastery that we are visiting today. At the moment, we are standing at the entrance of this monastery. The entrance itself is designed beautifully, and this is one of the most famous monasteries in this region. Almost everyone who comes on a Ladakh trip makes sure to visit this place. And this is where we will be staying tonight. The accommodation here is mostly tent stay, but honestly, the entire setup and atmosphere here feels absolutely perfect for travelers. The water flowing here is directly coming from the glaciers. It is pure water formed from melting snow in the mountains. In fact, this is completely natural drinking water, and you can actually drink it straight from here. Right now, we are standing in front of a memorial built by the Indian Army. These memorials were created in honor of the soldiers who lost their lives while fighting in the wars and protecting this land. Standing here really reminds us of the sacrifices made by those brave soldiers. And now, we have reached Turtuk village, which is known as one of the last villages of India, located very close to the border. It is truly a special place, carrying both beauty and history together. Right now, we are moving ahead with our journey, carrying the spirit of our channel along with us. There are a few small local markets here where travelers can buy some really good dry fruits and local products. On the other side of the river that you are seeing here, if we use binoculars and look carefully, we can spot the Pakistan side. And now, we are heading towards the famous sand dunes at Hundur. This place is known for its unique cold desert landscape. Even though it is a desert, the weather here remains extremely cold, which makes this place very special and completely different from the deserts we usually know. We have parked our vehicles here, and now we are walking straight towards the sand dunes to explore this beautiful place. Here, we got the chance to enjoy a camel ride, which is one of the most popular experiences in this place. After paying a small amount, we can ride on these camels for around 2 to 3 kilometers across the sand dunes. It is honestly a slightly scary experience at first, because getting proper balance on top of the camel takes around 5 minutes. Once you spend a few minutes on it, you slowly get comfortable and start enjoying the ride. While getting on, we have to be very careful because balancing at the beginning is the most important part. But overall, it was a really fun experience. Almost everyone feels a little nervous in the beginning, especially because the camel walks through soft sand and keeps moving in a slightly uneven way, almost like you are sliding while moving forward. So you definitely need to stay careful during the ride. We were a group of 6 members, and one by one, they helped all of us get on calmly and safely. It turned out to be a really memorable experience in the middle of this beautiful cold desert. When you begin riding in Ladakh during the first few days, the journey can feel really intimidating. The main reason is that most of these roads are full of off-road sections, and for many of us, it is something completely new. But as the days go by, every single day becomes a new challenge, and slowly we start adapting to it. After around 3 or 4 days, we become much more comfortable and naturally start riding with more confidence. At this stage, even when we see rough off-road sections, we can cross them with good speed because our body and mind have already adjusted to these conditions. This Ladakh trip is not just a journey, it feels like a place where your riding skills keep upgrading every single day. We slowly learn how to handle the bike better, when exactly to use brakes, how to control balance during off-road sections, and how to react in difficult situations. In many ways, this trip feels like a survival challenge. Honestly, it is very difficult to explain the feeling of riding through places like this. The scenic beauty around us is simply unbelievable. And during this ride, we came across a small water crossing as well. Everyone enjoyed that section because it was pure fun and adventure. One by one, each rider crossed carefully. For some vehicles, it was a little difficult, but most bikes managed to cross without any major problems. The important thing here is maintaining proper momentum. You should never go too fast, and at the same time, going too slow can also cause trouble. If you maintain the right momentum, crossing water sections becomes much easier. Experiences like this are very rare. Honestly, we have never experienced anything like this anywhere else. It is only when you come to Ladakh and ride through these terrains that you truly understand what adventure riding feels like. At times, it genuinely feels like survival mode, because this trip does not demand basic riding skills, it demands advanced skills. And the beautiful part is, by the end of the journey, those advanced skills slowly become your new basics. You start the trip as a normal rider, but somewhere along the way, you begin transforming into a much stronger and more experienced adventure rider. Because almost every part of this journey pushes you through completely different situations, and every single kilometer teaches you something new. But from here onward, the off-road sections become much more challenging. This is no longer the usual rough road. Ahead, the terrain gets much harder, filled with bigger rocks and boulder-type sections that are much more difficult to cross. We are heading towards the legendary Pangong Lake. Honestly, this place feels like a complete visual treat. The moment we started climbing towards it, the beautiful blue lake slowly started appearing in front of us. Even from far away, it looks absolutely stunning. But as we move closer, the color starts changing beautifully depending on the light, and that is when you truly understand how magical this place is. The weather here is extremely cold. Even if you just sit quietly without doing anything, you can feel the cold slowly getting stronger. We got our tent stay right beside Pangong Lake, and this is now the next morning. I woke up a little early because I wanted to experience the sunrise here. At that time, nobody else had woken up yet. The morning sunlight was slowly touching the mountain peaks, and you could see the light spreading beautifully across the mountains. It was such an amazing sight. Watching the sunlight slowly hit the mountains and pass through the landscape created a completely magical atmosphere. What an absolutely beautiful view. And just like that, our Pangong morning begins, and now we are continuing the journey once again. Today's ride takes us along the side of Pangong Lake itself. Yesterday evening, since we arrived late, we did not really get enough time to properly enjoy Pangong. But now while riding beside it, we are finally experiencing the true beauty of this place. This is where the real visual experience begins. The blue color of the lake looks unbelievably crisp and vibrant. It is honestly one of the most beautiful things we have seen during this entire trip. If you ever visit Ladakh, this is one place you should never miss. Pangong Lake is simply unforgettable. The only difficulty is that after reaching here, we have to return the same way. There is no full round-trip route available from this side. But honestly, even coming all the way here is completely worth it. The ride itself is beautiful, and there is plenty of time to stop, enjoy the scenery, and capture some amazing photographs. And during winter, this entire place looks completely different. All these mountains get covered in white snow, and the entire lake freezes so much that it almost becomes a surface you can walk on. And now, we have reached Chang La Pass. This pass stands at almost 17,586 feet above sea level, and it is one of the highest motorable passes in the world. We are planning to spend some time here before heading back again. Unlike Pangong La Pass, this place is not very crowded. There are a few small temples and resting spots around here. So after spending some time exploring the place, we will continue the next part of our journey ahead. We have finished all our packing, and all our basic luggage has now been loaded into the support vehicle. From here onward, the visuals around us are slowly going to start changing, because from this point we are almost beginning a long downhill journey, moving straight towards Manali. So as we continue the ride, the entire landscape and the mountain formations will gradually start looking different. Until now, we have been riding through a completely different side of Ladakh, but from here, every stretch is going to bring a new kind of scenery. The place where we stayed last night was still extremely cold, and this entire region remains one of the colder areas throughout the journey. It is also a very quiet and peaceful location, with that perfect mountain atmosphere all around. And now, with everything packed and ready, we are starting the next phase of this adventure once again. We spent quite a lot of time here taking photos, and honestly, this place is perfect for a photo session. No matter where you point the camera, you get absolutely amazing frames everywhere. Every angle here looks beautiful, which makes it a perfect spot for capturing memories. We managed to take plenty of great snaps here, and every single shot turned out really amazing because the entire location itself feels naturally picture perfect. At this location, we were lucky enough to experience some snowfall as well. There was a good amount of snow around us, so we spent some time simply enjoying it, playing in the snow, and making the most of that beautiful moment. After that, we stopped for a nice hot coffee from a small coffee shop nearby, which honestly felt perfect in weather like this. After leaving from there, we finally reached Sarku. And without doubt, this was one of the coldest places we experienced during our entire trip. In fact, among all the places we visited, Sarku was where we felt the strongest cold. The temperature is so low that almost all the water here gets frozen. Even the water inside the toilets had frozen completely. Because of that, they have installed a small solar heating system here. The water needs to be heated first before it can actually be used. We are now descending down again after crossing Baralacha La Pass. And for the first time after many days, we are finally starting to see green plants, greenery, and signs of vegetation once again. Slowly, the climate around us is beginning to change, and we can clearly feel the difference. Even now, the off-road sections are still there. There are still plenty of rough patches and broken roads along the route. It is not fully off-road anymore, but we can still see many damaged and uneven stretches. But at this point, after riding through so many difficult terrains in Ladakh, we have almost become experts ourselves. After continuously riding in these extreme conditions for days, our confidence and riding skills have improved so much that handling roads like this no longer feels difficult. The climate has changed, the sunlight feels warmer now, but the riding quality is still absolutely amazing. The bikes, especially the Royal Enfield Himalayan, performed perfectly throughout the trip. They handled every kind of terrain exactly the way we needed. So we stopped for a short break by the roadside. One beautiful thing about these roads is that traffic is very less, and because of that, we can truly enjoy the ride peacefully. And now, we are heading towards the famous Atal Tunnel. The moment we cross through this mountain tunnel and reach the other side, we enter into a completely different landscape. And now, we have entered Atal Tunnel. Outside, the weather was warm and sunny, but the moment we entered the tunnel, we immediately started feeling a sudden drop in temperature. As we moved deeper inside, the cold kept increasing more and more. Maybe because of the mountain conditions inside the tunnel, but honestly, it felt surprisingly cold throughout the entire stretch. In some sections inside the tunnel, we could even see small water streams flowing along the sides. And finally, after crossing Atal Tunnel, which stretches for almost 11 kilometers, everything around us completely changed. The entire landscape transformed. Suddenly, trees started appearing everywhere, the weather changed completely, and for the first time after days of barren mountain terrain, we were surrounded by a fresh new environment. It honestly felt like entering an entirely different world. We stopped here again for a short break. And honestly, nobody leaves this place without taking photos. Everyone who reaches this side makes sure to stop here and capture some memories. Now we are continuing straight towards Manali. Just a little more distance left, and we will reach Manali. And with that, this unforgettable adventure slowly comes to an end. Thank you so much for watching.